Now, what is the first thing you think of when talking about Sokka? Oh, Sokka is just the comic relief funny guy. He's Sokka the boomerang guy, or Sokka the meat and sarcasm guy, or Sokka the cactus juice guy. In many scenes, Sokka even defines himself as just the boomerang guy. But what if I told you Sokka was actually the most skilled and tactical person in Avatar? Like seriously, what makes Sokka such an impressive character is that he has to rely on his creativity and strategic mindset to solve problems, since he can't bend like many others in the series. In this video, I will go through Sokka's greatest moments that display his creativity, intelligence, tactical mindset, and engineering ability. Let's start with Sokka's tactical and strategic mindset. So one of the first times we see Sokka having good intuition and being tactical is during the introduction of Jet and the Freedom Fighters. Initially, Team Avatar is very on board with Jet's mission, with Aang always seeing the good in people and Katara quickly falling for Jet. However, right from the start, Sokka had a feeling that Jet couldn't be trusted. Later, Sokka sees Jet assault the old Fire Nation man for no reason, which confirms his initial suspicions. Sokka was absolutely right about Jet from the start, something that Aang and Katara completely denied. It's moments like these where Sokka shows his intelligence and proves that there's more to him than meets the eye. Next is when Sokka is able to take out Combustion Man, or Sparky Sparky Boom Boom as Sokka so cleverly calls him. While Team Avatar is at the Western Air Temple, they are eventually tracked down by Combustion Man, who is an assassin hired by Zuko, who has the ability to project and detonate large explosions from his head. This is known as combustion bending. He caused a ton of destruction in the temple, and Team Avatar don't really have the opportunity to try and fight back. In a split-second decision, Sokka pulls out his boomerang and skillfully throws it from an angle behind cover and strikes Combustion Man right in the forehead. Combustion Man is knocked down, but gets right back up and tries to fire another explosion, but ends up creating a point-blank explosion right in front of him, killing him. This strike required an insane amount of precision and shows that Sokka has really mastered the use of his boomerang, and always thinks of clever ways to utilize the unique weapon. Without that move, it would have been extremely difficult for the other members of Team Avatar to try and fight their way out of that situation with bending. Another moment is when Sokka comes up with the original plan to escape the deadly Fire Nation prison, the Boiling Rock. Sokka originally infiltrates the prison as guards with Zuko on the chance that his father is there to break them out. When he first arrives, he's sad to find out that his father isn't there, and that they should probably find a way out as soon as possible. After surveying the prison, Sokka comes up with a plan. They will use one of the freezer containers as a boat to float across the boiling water. This is an incredibly smart idea, as Sokka knows these containers have the capacity to withstand a lot of heat, as they're originally intended to hold firebender prisoners if they act out. Once Sokka hears that new prisoners are arriving, he decides to abandon the plan on the chance that his father is one of them. Luckily, he's right, and Sokka and his father are reunited and come up with another extremely strategic plan for all of them to escape the prison. This is another situation where Sokka's strategic mind is showcased, as his plans are executed very well and they're able to escape one of the deadliest prisons in the Fire Nation. The last moment is at the very end of the series during the events of Sozin's Comet. Stakes are extremely high and the fate of the world rests on Aang and the rest of Team Avatar. While Aang fights Fire Lord Ozai, it's up to Sokka, Suki, and Toph to take down the Fire Nation airships. Toph launches them onto one of the ships and they quickly take control of it. In an instant, Sokka thinks of a plan that he calls the Airship Slice. They will ram their ship against all the other ones in the line to take them all out at once. This was possibly Sokka's greatest moment in the entire series, from a strategic perspective. Without this plan, the airships certainly would have scorched an enormous amount of land, as all the firebenders were empowered by Sozin's Comet. The plan worked brilliantly, and almost all the airships are taken out. As their primary ship is destroyed, they have to jump onto a new one, where they quickly encounter several firebenders. With Toph hanging on to Sokka for dear life, Sokka has to figure out how to take out two superpowered firebenders with just one hand. Once again, his skills with the boomerang are shown, as he easily takes out one of them with his signature weapon. He takes out the other one by throwing his sword and breaking the piece of metal that's holding the other firebender, sacrificing his sword. This was a major play for Sokka and was very significant, as that sword was a new part of his identity that he developed in Book 3. In the end, they are both saved by Suki with another airship, and they all make it back to the ground. Moving on now, there are also several moments in the series where Sokka displays his abilities as an engineer. One of the first plans that he comes up with to showcase his engineering skill is to destroy the big drill that was breaking through the Great Wall of Ba Sing Se. Sokka decides that they should destroy the drill from the inside, so him, Aang, and Katara break in and quickly get their hands on the drill schematics. In what seems like no time at all, Sokka analyzes the structure of the drill and finds out that breaking the support beams should make the entire drill collapse. Again, this was entirely Sokka's plan that he thought of by himself, and was likely one of the only options they had to save the Great Wall and Ba Sing Se. Aang and Katara spend a long time fully destroying one of the support beams, which they realize will take too long to destroy them all. Sokka's strategic mind comes into play once again as he adapts his plan. They only need to partially break through the support beams, and then Aang will deliver a final blow from above, which should destroy the drill. The plan works perfectly, and they're able to destroy the drill and overcome Azula and her friends during the fight. Next is when Sokka comes up with a plan to raid the Fire Nation during the solar eclipse. While in the Si Wong Desert, Sokka wants to visit the legendary Wang Shi Tong's library. While there, they learn from the powerful spirit Wang Shi Tong that the library contains information from all four nations. They go through the library, and Sokka eventually finds out that during a solar eclipse, firebenders can't use their bending. Immediately, Sokka sees potential in this and tries to think of some sort of plan of attack on the Fire Nation on this day. They find a room that looks like a planetarium and make some calculations to try and figure out when the next solar eclipse is. I feel like I'm repeating myself at this point, but again, it's Sokka's versatility in finding creative solutions and utilizing all the information available to him to come with a very well thought out plan. They get all the information they need and are able to escape the library before Wang Shi Tong completely submerges it. Later on during the raid, the Day of Black Sun, Sokka even takes a leadership role to lead their army once his father is badly injured. This is something Sokka always wanted, and he finally gets to fulfill this desire and lead a successful attack. This shows that Sokka is always willing to put in the effort to have his team succeed. Even though earlier Sokka seemed very nervous going into the raid, he knew he had the skills to lead everyone. One of the last moments where Sokka's engineering abilities were showcased was when he was able to design the floating war balloons. These were used in the defense against the Fire Nation in the Northern Air Temple. While first coming to the Northern Air Temple, Aang was very disappointed to realize that some Earth Kingdom refugees were living in the temple. Sokka, however, immediately formed a bond with the Mechanist from their love of machines and engineering. While in the Mechanist's workshop, Sokka admires all the different inventions that he created. They talk and eventually come up with the idea of the war balloon. This was essentially a hot air balloon that would be outfitted with weapons and bombs for war. To design something like this, Sokka had to have knowledge about ships and how they fly, and how to utilize hot air to have the balloon rise and fall. This was another impressive display of Sokka's intelligence and engineering ability that very few people displayed in Avatar. The war balloons worked very well in the defense against the Fire Nation. Sokka really did live up to one of his names of being the idea guy. So that's about it for Sokka's greatest moments. I hope I've at least somewhat convinced you that Sokka was more than just the funny guy that was hungry all the time. His strategic mind and engineering abilities saved Team Avatar several times on such a grand scale. He took out giant drills, airships, defeated superpowered firebenders. Sokka did it all. Even without bending, Sokka really was one of the most important members of Team Avatar and did an excellent job serving as a leader. He showcased that strategy and planning can be equally as effective as bending when it comes to solving problems. I hope we get to see more non-benders that are as versatile and creative as Sokka in the future. What did you think of Sokka's greatest moments? What's your favorite moment or quote from Sokka? Let me know, and thanks so much for watching.